waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. 'Cause this is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. 'Cause this is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider.
And that concludes our show for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Tomorrow morning, I will be getting up extra early to do this stream. Thank you again. I will see you all soon. Peace. I am out. Good night, baby. Let me. Man, can you turn your light off? I guess it's hard for me to sleep like this.
I'm almost over this chapter. I got about 30 more minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah.
I can't sleep. Oh, all right.
A few moments later.
Babe, I mean, it's been 10 minutes. Can you please shut it off? I got to wake up early in the morning.
I have about 20 more minutes on this chapter. This is my only time to read.
I understand, but I have to get up early in the morning. Can you just read in the morning? I mean, I have a lot I have to do tomorrow.
Didn't you just get a sleep mask?
You know what? You right.
Use it.
Manta sleep, baby.
I don't know how you sleep with that thing on.
It's actually comfortable. Pitch black. I don't have to worry about your light. I'll be able to sleep just fine.
Well, enjoy it. It looks good on you.
This actually feels good. Oh, good night, baby.
Good night, love you.
Love you too. Ladies and gentlemen, check out Manta Sleep. The link to the website is in the description of this video. Make sure that you use promo code TDPHINSTALK. That is TDPHINSTALK. Again, make sure you check them out. Supporting our sponsors is supporting the channel. If you can't sleep when it's bright, these masks will turn out the light. Manta Sleep. Check them out. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. I hope everybody is having an amazing day so far. This starts a new week, Monday morning, draft week. I know that the Miami Dolphins don't have the draft picks that we would like to have, but we all know that anything can happen in the draft. We're going to be talking Miami Dolphins draft, several scenarios that could take place that could shock everybody. Outside of that, we do want to cover what we missed over the last few days. Tua's admission, Brady's omission, and you will get TD's rendition, my take on everything. And we will discuss all things Miami Dolphins, and I will do a little portion of Q&A as well. I want to hear what you all want to know, what you want to get my opinion on. So make sure that you hit the like button. Let your friends and family members know about TDPHINSTALK as well. Man, I'm excited. We got a long summer ahead of us, but we are going to get through it. These topics today I really want to discuss because it's very interesting. There's been a lot of information going around the last couple of days that I definitely want to clear up. But hey, man, we're back. We're out of YouTube jail, so they lifted all my little copyright stuff and all that. So I'm able to go live. They had me bound for a little bit, but I'm good, man. I hope, like I said, I hope everybody is having a blessed day. Shout out to the mod squad already in the building. Shout out to all the members of the channel that show their love on a regular basis. Shout out to Delusional Patriots fan, always been rocking with us. We appreciate it, man. Ronnie, I see you. Brandon, what's going on? Cesar Diaz, Michael Simmons, the homie in the building. What's up with you? Dolphineer, Horsey Head, rocking from the Bahamas, California. Brandon R, salute to you, man. Everybody sharing some time with us right now. Salute to you all. Let's go ahead and get started. First and foremost, I'm having a serious conversation this morning. About Tua Tagovailoa, about Brady, and about the Miami Dolphins and the state of the team and the decisions that we continue to make, whether they're good, bad, and what we should be doing as an organization. All right. First, I want to start out discussing Tua Tagovailoa. Okay. We know our young quarterback. He had his best season of his career. Last season it's an incomplete season. He was unable to complete it due to injuries, multiple concussions. And I've always been someone who said Tua is not injury prone. He's just prone to injuries. They just seem to find him because it's always a different one, toe, foot, hand, ribs, hip, head, neck, back. It's always something. But he did make some strides last year. He was able to put together a small stretch of good play in this league, which does show a little something. Of course, there's still a lot to be desired by Tua, but at the same token, if you want to look at progress, he's definitely headed in the right direction, but it's still a lot of road to be traveled. Now, the biggest controversy this year were the concussions. Tua recently had his press conference with the Miami Dolphins media, and he admitted something that the media is going crazy about. I'm not sure why people are really going crazy about it. I mean, everything he admitted, we already knew. Now, I know there were tons of people denying it, but we already knew this. Ignore the people who making the false narratives. We already knew that Tua contemplated retirement. I already told y'all over a month ago, Tua is when it all happened, Tua is debating. He's sitting down with his family, making a decision on whether he wants to retire or not. And people say, you don't know that. You know nothing about him, X, Y, and Z. We know that on this channel, okay? It wasn't news over here, okay? People denied it, but it wasn't news over here. Why? Because Tua Tagovailoa isn't an idiot. Any person with common sense in their right mind would consider it. It only makes sense. So for people to say, no, he wasn't, you don't know what you're talking about, that was almost like an insult to Tua, like something's wrong with him. Why wouldn't he? It's common sense, especially with CTE and everything like that. Now, Tua said in his press conference that his doctors, basically told him he does not have the long-term risk of CTE like the other players, like linebackers and linemen. It's not really prevalent for him. It's really for all those other positions. When I heard it at first, it kind of moved me the wrong way, but you know how we are when you say a doctor told me, even if it doesn't sound right, you just let it go and you move on. But after about a day, I kind of like paused to myself and I said, hold on. TD, you've done your own research, not even Tua related, about concussions, CTE, in great lengths. And a doctor told him he's not at risk of CTE. And then some people say, no, that's not what he said. The doctor said he's not at any more risk than any other quarterback or players. And what I come to realize is that not every player is being exposed to the same amount of brain trauma. And here's what bothered me about the whole thing. People are out here justifying what he said by saying, well, all those other positions bang their head 100 times a game and quarterbacks barely ever get hit. First of all, we need to stop lying to ourselves just to justify something that we want. No position on the NFL field bangs their head 100 times a game, ladies and gentlemen. No position on the field. No position on the field bangs their head 50 times a game, ladies and gentlemen. No position in the game. Let's take the position that does deal with the most head contact in the NFL, and that would be the offensive line. That would be the offensive line in the defensive line, okay? Now, let's break this down. When you go look at any game sheet, you'll see that any offensive lineman and any defensive lineman, they pretty much engage on every play. But most games, players only get between 40 to about 70 snaps a game. So 100 is already out of the window. Players only get about 40 to 100 snaps a game. And then when you look at the offensive and defensive linemen, they don't say hike and helmet to helmet on every play. Half of those plays are passing plays, and offensive linemen are already in a shuffle retreat with their hands out. They're not banging helmets. And on run plays, 7 times out of 10, they're using their hands to lead block. And there are times they put their head down, and that's when the banging happens on occasions. But I am telling you now, it is safe to say that the most that any singular player on a football field bangs their head in a game, maybe at most 15 times. Maybe at most. And every time they bang their head, they do not, I repeat, they do not experience head trauma. Every time you bang your head, you don't experience head trauma. I could take my head right now and hit it against this wall. I may not experience head trauma. Now, if I bang it hard enough, trust me, my brain will tell me you experienced a little trauma. You felt it inebriated you a little, or it just really, really hurt. The head is very tough. But when hit hard enough against something else, it can create trauma. But these players aren't banging their heads at any position like people are making it seem to differentiate between Tua and other positions. And to take a step further, when you go look at Tua's concussions, the ones where he smacks his head to the back of the ground, most players don't experience a single hit that hard all game. Now, let me have an educational moment for those who are ignorant to what CTE is and how it develops. This is a brief educational moment so that when you're hearing people out here talking about risk and things like that, not knowing what they're talking about, you will know what you're talking about going forward, because everything I'm going to give you is factual. It has been researched by doctors that I have learned this from firsthand and spoken to doctors. Now, CTE occurs. First of all, there's a baseline. CTE isn't just hitting your head, later on you got CTE, okay? What happens, what creates, CTE is a brain disease, okay? What creates the disease? What creates the disease is a buildup of tau protein, T-A-U. I may be pronouncing that wrong, but it ain't Tua, T-U-A, but it's T-A-U, tau protein. There is a protein in the brain called tau protein, okay? It is only released in the brain when the brain experiences head trauma. Bang, head trauma. Some of it is released. This stuff is not supposed to be released at all. Bang, some got released. How much? Doctors have no clue how much gets released, how hard the hit is, and how much is released. Is it this hit and a little bit? Is it that hit and it's a lot? Doctors have no idea how much gets released. They don't have any scale that says if you hit it this hard, that much will get released. They absolutely have no clue. but they do know when the brain experiences trauma, it is released. The more that is released, it can become a disease that starts to spread. And when it spreads, it takes over just about all of the top of the brain and the whole frontal area. It's not supposed to be in there. It is something that your brain reacts. It releases this chemical only when there is head trauma. It is never supposed to be released. But the right amounts get released, it becomes a disease that spreads. Okay? So people say, oh, it's not like a running back who takes 100 hits. Those hits might be minor. I mean, they may be hard hits, but it may not be concussive hits. It may not be head trauma hits. People bang their head to head all the time. It does not mean that it's going to release the protein. Concussions, they don't know if that releases it as well, but that is a severe trauma. So they have a very good assumption that when you get a concussion, it pretty much probably releases this protein as well. So this notion, he's not at all those other positions are the ones that are really at risk. How can a doctor say that if a quarterback smacks his head and finger seizes up and is inebriated, but a running back that keeps banging but is not inebriated? Tua has a high risk of having tau protein released based off of the hits that he took. We don't know though. And the sad thing is you won't know until they're gone. A lot of people say, hey, I believe I have CTE at a later stage, but they won't be able to confirm until they can actually examine the brain, and you can't do that until one is passed. Nah, don't do that, Slippin' Jimmy. I mean, I care. That's the point of why I'm talking about this. I know Slippin' Jimmy joking, but he said, who cares if Tua gets CTE? Stop hating TD. And I do care, because I'm going to be honest with y'all. The last thing I want is for him to continue to put himself at a high risk. And then next thing you know, he done played his career. And then whenever he in his 50s and 60s, we getting these reports of this and that and this. Ain't nobody's going to say nothing. Nobody's going to say anything. And at the end of the day, it's Tua's decision. But what's interesting about his decision, he said one of the main factors of why he decided to play was because a doctor told him that's not really for him. It's kind of like for all those other positions. What? What? A doctor told him that. And then another doctor comes out over the weekend and tweet out, whatever doctor told Tua that is wrong, which makes all the sense in the world. What kind of doctor is going to tell you, nah, you ain't at risk, that's really for them? This man could have already had tau protein released in his brain and we won't know. It's the craziest thing when you really think about it, a doctor saying that. And they're like, well, it's really when you have constant head trauma over and over and over and over. No, doctors have no idea. They have no idea. All doctors have said, we really don't know the severity of the hits that causes the protein to be released. We don't know how many hits causes it to be released. We don't know the severity of the hits. Doctors say, all the research says they don't know how many hits, the severity of the hits. They just know it's prevalent in people that, see, this is why their study says people who experience constant head trauma, right? Because they find it in boxers. They find it in soccer players. They find it in football players, maybe more prevalent in linemen, in running backs in X, Y, and Z. But please tell me what quarterbacks are out here having the frequency of head trauma that Tua Tagovailoa is having. See, I'm okay saying that linebackers, linemen, and stuff like that may be more at risk of it because their position is supposed to get hit more in the head. But tell me what quarterbacks out here are having head injuries at the frequency that Tua Tagovailoa is having them right now. To actually study it. And then the last lie that took me out was quarterbacks don't get CTE. If you out here spreading that, stop lying. There have been Miami Dolphin quarterbacks in the past that's been studied that had CTE. Several quarterbacks that have been documented after they passed had CTE. Well, this ain't the same NFL as before. You're right, it's not. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, tell me what quarterback in the NFL is having head trauma at the frequency of Tua Tagovailoa. Tell me. And I'm sure there's some, but they're at risk too. So I don't care that he's decided to play. At the end of the day, his decision was going to be his. But to know that he decided to continue because a doctor told him this, then another doctor comes out and said whatever doctor told him that is a lie. All this money in the NFL, all this money he's making, and this contradiction is just being walked past? This contradiction is being walked past? Not only for Tua, but the NFL and the Miami Dolphins. For the NFL and the Miami Dolphins. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. But hey, at the end of the day, it is his decision, and I respect his decision. He's a grown man. That just took me, though. Whenever I heard that, it took me back. I said, wow, that's not adding up for me. It really isn't. But hey, it is what it is. I want to move along to another note. That was Tua's admission. TD, sounds like someone got paid. LOL. Scar, we're going to talk about that actually, and I want you to follow me on this because this may be interesting. Colin Cowherd said something recently that's very interesting that we all need to pay attention to as Dolphin fans. Real talk. When I get there, I'll let you know. It ain't long. It's after this Brady piece. But that's the interesting thing. We're going to talk about it, though. Somebody might have gotten paid. You'll be shocked to find out who. All right. Brady's omission. Brady ain't no good. I ain't gonna lie. Brady ain't no good. But you know what? Brady's doing the right thing because how many times have I told y'all how dumb can the Miami Dolphins be? We can't be this dumb. We can't be going all in with no contingency plan. When y'all heard this Brady news and this omission and didn't want to really answer the question, kind of just fluffed it off, all Dolphin fans should have been excited. I still don't get this notion. Brady's the enemy. I hate to have him as a Dolphin. Stop. He kicked your behind for so many years, and it ain't nothing you can do about it. And at the end of the day, we lost. You can't get that back. But what you can get is on the board and win. Okay? As a Dolphin fan, I wouldn't want Brady. Why? Because he beat you every year? If you can't beat him, join him. And it's the other way around. He'll join us. Makes no sense to me. That logic makes no sense to me. Your enemy is going out on top. At least get something out of it. I don't get it. But anyway, you should feel good as a Dolphins fan knowing that if Tua Tagovailoa go down, they call him Brady. And I've been told y'all, I've been told y'all. We all knew he was on the radar. He lost us a first-round pick. He owe us. But that's a good thing. That's a contingency plan. The one thing that's been baffling my mind all this time is, where's the contingency plan? Don't tell me Mike White no contingency plan. Skylar Thompson, stop it. Tua get hurt in week 3 and out for the season. Where's the contingency? We got 2 years. We can't be playing these games. Talk about old Mike White. And when I heard him just kind of like omit it and not really go into it, that, man, they already know what time it is. Brady, we're not pursuing you, but listen, if Tua go down, man, we going to call you, man. We going to ask you to go on this ride with us. And Brady already know what time it is. I'm ready. All right. I'm going to be chilling in Miami because I ain't playing nowhere else. I either retire or I'll be a Dolphin for a few years. And since y'all ain't pursuing it and y'all trying to see what Tua can be, good. I'm down here in Miami. If that don't work out, hit me up. I'll come play a season or 2. Try to get me one more chip. And if I do, that's going to start making me on a whole nother Mount Rushmore of the greats. Brady know what he's doing. He's sitting there chilling and saying, hey, if they never call, that's fine. And if they do, I'm with it because this is home. I ain't got to sacrifice not being around my kids. I ain't got to this. I ain't got to that. It's perfect for Brady. It's perfect. And it's perfect for Dolphin fans to know you got a backup plan. Because I'm going to tell you now, Tua get hurt again, and we miss the playoffs and we don't pursue Brady. I done asked all y'all, then what you do? I keep asking Dolphin fans, but nobody got that answer. Say you don't pursue Brady and Tua get hurt again. What do you do as a team? What do you do as a team? Yeah, IMAX. Brady is a viable backup option. Once again, here we go. Say, call it what you want. You know what time it is. You already know what time it is. Tamper said draft. Draft what? You ain't getting the top quarterback, not with the picks we got. You win 9 games this year and miss the playoffs, what you gonna do with your 18th first-round pick? With your 18th overall first-round pick, what you gonna do? Nothing. You ain't gonna do nothing. Ain't nothing you can do. Well, we take all our picks and trade up, just like we tried to do with Burrow and they said kick rocks. Ain't nothing we can do. So it's good to have a backup plan like this. Good to have a backup plan. And I'm glad we do. The only reason Dolphins signed Tua the extension is because Skylar wasn't good enough to play yet. Is that facts, TD? Well, I mean, you could say that too. But, the goal is supposed to be on Tua, not Skylar. And hope that Tua can develop. I mean, Skylar can develop. But that ain't showed to be the case yet. Tank for Caleb. Man, Caleb going number 1 overall probably. You ain't getting the first overall pick. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. And that's the point I'm making. It's good to know we got a backup plan, and anybody that want to deny that, the Dolphins know what time it is. So I'm good with that. Brady's omission. Things don't go right. We're good. Now, I want to go into the somebody said somebody got paid off. Somebody might have gotten paid off in the Tua concussion situation. Guess who that person might have been that might have got paid off? I want to see if anybody's thoughts are even close to mine. Who is that person that might have got paid off in the Tua concussion situation? No, or I mean, well, we'll saw. OR got it. Jason got it. Tua might have got paid off. Colin Cowherd, which some people like him, some people don't. He said something so interesting that blew my mind the other day. And I thought about it. I was like, you know what? You could be right. Now, first of all, he was saying if I'm Miami at number 52, I'm taking a quarterback. I think we got the 52nd pick, wherever the pick is. He said, I'm taking a quarterback. I wouldn't be opposed to Miami doing that. See if you can get you a Russell Wilson, Jalen Hurts, or something like that. He said, if I'm Miami at 52, I'm taking a quarterback. Or I'm taking that second pick and another one moving up, and I'm still taking a quarterback. That is a possibility, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is the Miami Dolphins, and they're just ridiculous. I don't see it happening, but that's a possibility. But guess who might have got paid off? Tua might have got paid off. There is a good possibility where, and this was Colin Cowherd's main point of the message. He was saying Dolphins love the kid, but they don't love the player because of the injuries and all of that. They love the kid. They just don't love the player. And I know the Dolphins love Tua, but they have to be at odds with the inconsistency and the never knowing. And it's always him. 51, thank y'all. It's always him. It's always him. They can't be in love with that. Inconsistent play, always getting hurt. Hey, we love this kid though, but gosh, that has to be the sentiment. And he's right. Colin Cowherd said, I think they picked up his fifth-year option so that they could pay him and say thank you. That could very well be the case. They love the kid. Thank you so much. Here's $23 million. Your family is straight for the rest of your life. That could very well be the case. We just don't see it yet. Now, again, this is one that nobody would actually explore as far as being a real option, but it's something for us to discuss, to keep our eye on, so that if we see something strange like the Miami draft a quarterback, or we see something strange like the Miami moves out of the second round and pick up picks for next year, or they do move on after this year or whatever it may be, they could have very well, we love this kid, here's $23 million. Pay him. Thank you for your services. You're going to get your money. No way. Tua has too much talent to take $25 million as his payoff. Well, it's not that it's his payoff. It's the fact that Tua even knows it's hard to bet on himself. The man said he contemplated retirement. Don't forget that. So don't say he got too much talent to just settle for $25 million. He contemplated retirement. And if he would have, he wouldn't have even had the $23 million. Because what you don't want is an Andrew Luck situation. Then the Dolphins are screwed more than 2 years. That's what you don't want. An Andrew Luck situation. Some of y'all probably don't even know what happened with Andrew Luck, the details. Some of y'all probably don't even know what I'm talking about. Yes or no in the comment section if you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say you don't want the Andrew Luck situation. Yes or no to comment section. DF Forever. Hey, TD, just dropping off some respect. Honest question. Put the caliber of player aside. Do you think Tua should retire? Hope the fam is well. I don't think he should retire yet. I I don't think that's the case yet. I think this year 4 will give me a firm answer. I think he needs to play this year, trying to be as safe as possible. But I'll tell you, if the man gets hurt again, I don't care if it's a pinky, anything that keeps him out of any game, I'm personally done. But as far as should he retire, no, he shouldn't retire yet. He should play this season. That's my take. Of course, it's still risky, but he should. So, dang, look at that. The comment section, some of y'all don't even know Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck was seeing ghosts with all those hits. Luck was having surgeries every other season. His offensive line was boo-boo, just like Tua's O-line. And Tua keep on getting hurt. And then on top of that, when I say you don't want the Andrew Luck situation, you don't want the contract and then the player not being healthy for it. And then ends up retiring and still gets a big bag that goes against the team. Don't forget the money implications that happen with the Andrew Luck situation. Don't forget the debate about the guaranteed money and how that was a conflict with the NFL. Don't forget that. It wasn't just I'm retiring because it was I'm hurt. So I'm kind of forced to retire at this point, but it's an injury retirement. Don't forget the debacle that went on with the money. That's what you don't want. The title of this video is fire. Appreciate it. Bars. Yeah, you don't want that situation. You don't want that situation. And I hope that Tua doesn't just absolutely bomb it or be disastrous this year or do something that makes us Baker Mayfield him. That's why when people are like, oh, we picked up the 5th year, told you. Do you know who Baker Mayfield is? Ladies and gentlemen, do you know who Baker Mayfield is? Do you remember his year 3? Going to the playoffs, actually won a playoff game, lost the second game, had a breakout year. They picked up the 5th year option. The very next year, he was boo-boo trash. And then they were like, oh, but we got the 5th year option. He was gone. He was gone, even on the 5th year option. And his 5th year option was $19 million. So it ain't that big of a difference. They traded him to the Panthers. And they paid a portion of the salary. But that's just him. It's what he does. The team was stacked last year and nothing. Baker Mayfield, they stacked that team, remember? And they went to the playoffs. Won a playoff game. Very next year, they stacked it even more. And I don't even think they made the playoffs. Fifth year option means absolutely nothing. Shout out to Flipside Fishing, the homie, with the MVP status. Been rocking with us for 21 months. Love you, brother. Scant Dollar in the building with the donation. He said, I agree with Cowherd. I would absolutely not extend a guy who considered retirement and is one hit away from being done. Plan B needs to be put in place. Yeah, that's what's interesting with this whole situation. Now, the Dolphins gonna Dolphin, though. They probably think they plan B is Mike White. Oh, I'm good, PJ. TD, are you seriously comparing Baker Mayfield to Tua's talent? LMFAO. Wow. Fansaholic as NFL quarterbacks, I'm absolutely comparing it. I'm absolutely comparing it. Why not? Why wouldn't I? Again, I don't know. Never mind. Steve Young played professional football for 15 years. Bad comparison. Man, nobody's comparing them head to head as far as blah, blah, blah. We're talking about what they've done in the NFL so far. They've pretty much been very similar. Baker Mayfield's first 3 years in the NFL, he had like a 93 passer rating. Tua's first 3 years, 92 when you put them together. So all I'm talking about is that third year when Baker had that 3.5 to 1 interception ratio, 26 touchdowns, 8 picks. And he actually helped lead his team to the playoffs, help him win a playoff game, and then lost the second one. That was his breakout year. One that said, let's pick up his fifth-year option. His first 2 years, we thought we were dead in the water, but his third year, yeah, I like that. Let's pick up his fifth-year option. That's what I'm comparing. Just like Tua, first 2 years, I don't think we got the guy. Third year, okay, let's see something. Let's pick up his fifth-year option. That's what I'm comparing. And they are identical in that sense. I ain't comparing, Tua got a better arm, or Baker got a bigger cannon, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not comparing any of that. Not comparing any of that. I'm talking about the situations. If Tua would have had another year like he had in the past, he wouldn't be here right now. Two of those 3 years, Tua had no weapons to throw to. Okay, Pablo, do you remember Baker's rookie season? Do you remember his second season? It wasn't until year 3 when they loaded up around him. Baker OBJ was getting hurt. And remember, the running back got hurt too. Like I said, not until that breakout year did they go get players like Landry and all of them. And everybody was healthy. And he had a good season. And then the very next season with weapons again, he was trash. That's all I'm saying. I got you, IMAX. TD, many here tend to disagree. How about putting up their career stats and show them why you feel that way? Well, I actually just explained, DF. It had nothing to do with the stats. It was simply the first 2 years, both of these guys were in question. Like when I ask everybody now, after 2 years of Tua Tagovailoa, was he not in question? Well, he's still in question. But after 2 years, was he not in question? Everybody would agree, yes, he was in question. Anybody who doesn't, they're just being delusional. Baker Mayfield, first 2 years, in question. Not about the stats. I just said I'm not comparing stats. I'm talking about the circumstances, situation. Did Tua have a much better year in year 3? Absolutely. One that made us say, let's pick up the fifth-year option because we headed in the right direction. Did Baker have a great season in year 3? Absolutely. One that made them say, let's pick up the fifth-year option and let's see where it goes. And Baker just straight bummed it the very next season. And now Tua's up. So year 1 through 3, in that sense, they are identical. So those who want to disagree with that, I don't have to prove nothing. They're just being delusional. This isn't an opinion. This is factual. Everybody that got eyes know both quarterbacks were unproven in the first 2 years. And in year 3, both teams felt like they had something. That's all I'm talking about. Okay? They was trying to replace Tua after year one. Flo tried telling us, you are the king of the Tua haters. Hey man, y'all need to give me a crown. You're going on your 4th year and really don't know if you have a franchise QB. Guess what? You don't. I mean, I get it. But we still got to give it time. We got to let it play out. That's just how it works. It sucks if it doesn't work out. But if it does work out, it definitely was worth the wait. But if it doesn't work out, it sucks. It sucks. It really does. You know? Feel like Tannehill 2.0. Well, it can't be Tannehill 2.0 until Tua gets the extension. And he end up not being the guy. That's when it's Tannehill 2.0. Here's the crazy thing about Tua, right? He done been hurt so much in 3 years that here's the frustrating thing. Do y'all think Tua can go 3 years straight with no injuries where he won't at least miss 3 games? This is the thing that a lot of people don't think about either. Do you think Tua can go 3 years straight of not missing, let's say, 5 games? Just 5 games. Do you think he can go 3 years not missing 5 games? And this is the point. This is the frustrating part. It's going to be even more frustrating if Tua plays 17 games this year and next year he get hurt and miss 5 games and we don't make it or something. Whatever it is. At what point do they say it's okay that he had an injury now, but we're going to keep going? You see what I'm saying? It's like this man would need to be healthy at least 2 or 3 years in a row for them to absorb another injury and be okay moving on after he get back from it. Y'all get what I'm saying here? Which makes you wonder, is it even worth it? Is it even worth it? That's the crazy part. And that's why I said, man, I told y'all, Tua's the worst kind of quarterback because he's good enough not to be good enough. So he'll always play to a level to where you don't write him off completely, but you still want more. But then now I'm feeling like the injuries might end up being good enough to not be good enough to where he'll keep getting hurt. And then when he get his final chance, he'll be healthy the whole time. You give him a big bag and then he start getting hurt again. What you gonna do? Like imagine Tua going to the Pro Bowl this year. You know, we win 1 playoff game, right? And Miami's like, oh, we got our guy. It might even be a 2nd round exit, but we got our guy, right? I ain't talking about Pro Bowl alternate. He actually was one of the top quarterbacks and we went to the Pro Bowl, right? Oh, we got our guy. Now you got a 5-year, $240 million contract, 130 guaranteed, whatever it is, right? And then the next season, he get hurt and he out for the season or something like that. It's like you can't win because it's good. It's like with him, you feel like it's always going to be a risk. It's always going to be a risk. And then on top of it, it gets a little worse when 2 years from now, when you can't afford the Tyreeks of the world and stuff like that, or you might still go and afford the Tyreeks, you go get another top receiver and always keep the weapons around them, but some part of the team will struggle. But once everything ain't around him, or a receiver goes down and he can't just hit that first read right away, and he got to extend a little more, it's just always going to be tough. It's going to always be tough. It's always going to be scary. It's always going to be a fear. TD in a league that goes out of its way to protect quarterbacks. Tua just injury prone. I get it, bro. I get it. Somebody, PJ Max said the same can happen to Jalen Hurts. Big contracts are a risk either way. Anyone can get injured. Well, PJ Mac, anyone can get injured, but we're talking probability. Who do you think has the highest probability of injury at the quarterback position in the NFL right now? Tua Tagovailoa. You understand probability, right? If I play 5 games and you play 5 games, and I've got hurt 4 of those 5 games, and you got hurt 1 out of those 5 games, the next 5 games, I have a higher probability of getting hurt. I have a much higher probability of getting hurt. And guess what? When Jalen Hurts got hurt, he came back, led his team to the Super Bowl. And they also decided not to rush him back. He also already had his team in the playoffs when he left. It's about the history. It's about the history, the probability. If you're always getting hurt, then you have a high probability to continue to. If you rarely ever get hurt, you got a high probability that you won't. Doesn't mean you won't at all. You might get hurt, but it ain't like it's going to just keep happening. And if it does, then your probability is increasing. Sad to say, but I see TB12 finishing the season for Miami. Yeah, but I hope not. I hope that Tua can finish the season and, win a Super Bowl, baby. Yeah, look at guys like Jimmy G. Tua might end up the classic Jimmy G. Jimmy G ain't no bum. Jimmy G's good enough to make plays and help his team not make the mistakes. And Jimmy G, but he always injured. Mike McDaniel know this firsthand. Don't let Mike McDaniel's philosophy fool y'all. He know good and well in the back of his head. Right now it's looking like I got a Jimmy G on our hands. Right now it's looking like we got a Jimmy G on our hands. Mike McDaniel know that because Jimmy G is perfect for that system over there in San Francisco, but he can't stay healthy. You think they getting rid of Jimmy G only because of his play? You think that's why they moved on? Only because of his play? No, he couldn't stay healthy. And I never felt like he was good enough anyway. Like to win a Super Bowl. But regardless, the biggest thing that helped them move on was his injuries. TD, you think we can a offensive scheme breakdown of Tua? What do you think we have to do? Be a top 5 offense and win a Super Bowl? That's an interesting question. Well, first and foremost, you're gonna have about 10 games a season where you're going to be going up against defenses that are going to be giving the Dolphins exactly what they want because they're going to run raggedy zones. Now, we do have a tougher schedule this year, but we'll have about 10 games where we'll be able to do what we want on offense. It's just a matter of execution. Well, let me be a little more. Let's say 8 games we'll be able to do it. We do have a much tougher schedule this year. And as long as those guys are in their spots and Tua's throwing it to those spots, just keep the boat moving. That's all it is. That's our offense. That's what we are. We're no more than that. It is what it is. Call the play, hike the ball, look at your little indicators McDaniel gave you. And if this says do that, you do that. If that says do this, you do this. Put the ball where it need to be. And hopefully your guy is coming across the field at that time and keep moving the rock. It's that simple. And be accurate doing it. That's what our offense is. And if you want to add a run game element, that'll be beautiful. But until we prove that and actually do that, then I ain't got no faith in that run game until this line plays at a higher level. It's that simple. Brent said, I hope Tua wins it all for us. I wish that guy much success. Exactly. But I got to follow past history because cannot predict the future. True. That boy gonna make everyone eat crow. That's the goal, you know? Like, and on top of that 20,000 heat, if he makes everybody eat crow, it's gonna be very delicious. Like, this is what a lot of people don't understand, even about me. If Tua makes me eat crow, do you not realize that I'm about to have a great meal? Well, I guess people do realize that, and that's why they get mad at me and they want me to like suffer for some reason. Tua won the Super Bowl, you got to pay. I'm 10 times more excited than you if that happens. No, TD, keep the same energy. No, I can't because Tua didn't. It's that simple. But yeah, man, I'm going to love that meal. Ain't going to have to add no extra seasoning or nothing. Give me all that crow. Matter of fact, I want to glutton over it. That crow will taste like steak, TD. Exactly. Exactly. It's crazy, man. Yeah, gotta play a full season to prove it. Just saying, 7 years still waiting. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. It's tough. This whole thing is tough with this team, man. Everybody just want to win. Everybody just wants to win. It's that simple. Anyway, I'm coming up on my hour. I will be live later today as well. Got some more things I want to go over. But right now, I'm finna go hang out with baby girl, take her on her, midday walk. Put her in a stroller, let her look around instead of the car seat. She get to see the sun and all that good stuff. But thank y'all for tuning in to TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. We got a lot coming this week. Draft and a lot of stuff preparing for that. But get ready for it, and we got a special treat coming for you guys soon as well that I'm gonna announce soon. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Fins up no matter what. Peace. It's TD and I